These belong to Chuck. I don't want him to.
Oh yeah, those.
He should be shamed
he's
that he
gonna
didn't
say
his best. Merlin would say.
You can put that right over
The other aspect of that wow activity.
Wow.
The other aspect of the wow activity that we don't necessarily think about is if you were to go home and or brought one of your Kiwanians over to your house and you started playing that, people who hadn't just played it with us would go and say, "How do you know when to say wow?" Because from an outsider, it looks like you're just reading each other's minds. And once you know the rules, it makes it very, very simple. In fact, the reason I learned that activity is I saw two students playing at one time, and I said, "How do you know how to do that?" And they said, "Oh, it's this." And once you know the basic instructions, it becomes very simple. And I think that's something that we sometimes fail to do as Kiwanians is we don't just give the basic instructions of how easy membership might be, how easy engaging a service may be. We know it, and therefore it just seems very obvious. But for the outsiders, it doesn't always connect. And it's a chance that we have to sort of go and to connect with that. I think if we can connect not only with one another, but also connect with the thing that we're passionate about doing and perhaps reconnect with some of these childlike, playful elements of ourselves, our lives become just a little bit fuller. A few years ago, I was asked to take a group of students to Magic Mountain. And so we went to Magic Mountain. We spent the day at Magic Mountain. It was a lot of fun. Getting towards the end of the day, we're about to hop on the bus to head back to the hotel we were staying at the time. And before we headed back to the bus, we did two things, one of which is we went to the gift shop. And the students who knew me and knew about my geekdom as a kid and such went and saw an item in the Magic Mountain gift shop, and they said, "Are you going to get that?" I said, "For sure." And so I went and I bought myself a Superman cape. And they said, "Are you going to wear it?" And I said, "You bet." And so I tossed on my Superman cape, and I started walking around Magic Mountain. And we went, and the last thing we told the students before I hopped on the bus is, if you want to get any last bit of a snack before we go, it's going to be a ride back, go and do that. And so some of the students ran off and they got funnel cakes. Some ran off and they got some ice cream sundaes. I wanted a frozen lemonade. So I went to the frozen lemonade stand, and I was sitting next to one of the other chaperones, my buddy Brett. And we're just standing there, and my buddy Brett says, "Dude." And I said, "What?" He says, "Dude." I said, "What?" He says, "Dude." I'm like, "What?" And then I feel this little tug on my cape. And I look over and down. There's like a 3.5-year-old, maybe a 4-year-old kid looking up at me. And he says, "Hi, Superman." And I was a little tripped out because last time I looked in the mirror, I'm not the Man of Steel. I'm much more like the Man of Jello, But I looked back at the kid and I said, "Hello." And the kid said, "How are you, Superman?" I said, "I'm fine." He says, "Thank you for being Superman. Bye-bye." And he ran off to his mom, and I said, "You're welcome. Be good." And as I headed on that bus that day, I'm not Superman. I cannot block bullets. I can't go and pick up the sun. I can't jump to the top of a building. But in that moment, had I responded to that kid in any other way, I perhaps would have ruined his viewpoint of what Superman is. We have these capes. We put on these capes each week when we walk into a meeting. We greet one another and we pause from the chaos of our daily lives and we say, "How are you? Here's a happy buck. This is what's good in my world right now." We go and we find a way to serve at a project. We stand at Park and A early in the morning with shoes so that families have a safe place to kind of go and be in one of the darkest times in their life. We come from this diverse population of memberships, various nonprofits represented. This is our own little bit of a Justice League, all working and striving together. We put on these capes, and it's a privilege to wear it as a Kiwanian. I hope that you don't forget that aspect. Thanks for putting up with my little randomness today. It's been fun.
Yay.